There are celebrity couples that make sense, some that surprise us, and others that just leave everyone confused. Birdman and Toni Braxton, they were all three, an unlikely pair that raised eyebrows from day one. And still, years later, no one really knows what happened behind the scenes. But here's what we do know. This story is messy. It's tangled with money, heartbreak, family drama, and more unanswered questions than Toni's last album rollout. When news first broke that the R&B legend and the Cash Money mogul were dating, fans didn't believe it. It felt like a publicity stunt, a rumor that would fade in a week. But then Toni confirmed it, not with a press release, but by showing up with Birdman on red carpets, whispering his name in interviews, and even calling him babe on stage. Suddenly, it wasn't a joke. It was real. Or at least real enough to make the headlines. But here's the thing, real doesn't always mean right. And from the jump, this relationship had red flags wrapped in designer packaging. Let's rewind. Toni Braxton, the sultry, sophisticated queen of heartbreak ballads, was already a household name before Birdman ever picked up a mic. She gave us Unbreak My Heart, Breathe Again, He Wasn't Man Enough, songs that defined generations. But behind the powerhouse vocals was a woman who'd faced bankruptcy, health scares, and toxic relationships. She was no stranger to reinvention. And Birdman, he was hip-hop royalty. The man behind Lil Wayne's rise, the co-founder of Cash Money Records, and one of the most intimidating figures in the rap game. Tattoos on his face, diamond grills, money on money. Let's just say, he wasn't exactly who people pictured when they thought of Toni's type. And yet, somehow, it worked. Or at least, it looked like it did. In 2016, the rumors went into overdrive. Toni was seen bringing Birdman on stage during a performance in Atlanta. The crowd went wild, mostly with confusion. Was it love? Was it business? Or was it something else entirely? By 2017, things escalated. Toni's sisters, especially Tamar, were dropping hints in interviews and on social media. And then, in true Braxton fashion, the confirmation came with flair. Toni announced their engagement during a teaser for Braxton Family Values, casually flashing a massive ring and saying, "I have an announcement to make. I'm engaged." It was official. Birdman had proposed, and not just with a ring, but with a promise to love and protect her, despite what the world might say. But the world did have something to say. A lot, in fact. From the beginning, fans questioned Birdman's intentions. Was it clout? Was it control? And more importantly, why did Toni seem off? People noticed the shift. Toni, once so elegant and expressive, seemed guarded. Interviews became stiffer. Her eyes, once full of light, looked distant. Of course, love can change people, but sometimes love that changes you too much isn't love at all. It's survival. And while Toni was putting on a brave face, behind the scenes, cracks were forming. In 2018, just a year after the engagement, the couple reportedly called it off. Toni posted a cryptic message saying, "Starting a new chapter isn't always easy, but always necessary." Birdman, hours later, wiped his entire Instagram. And just like that, the fairy tale was over. Or was it? Because just a few months later, they were back, appearing together at events, holding hands, smiling for cameras. And yet, something felt different, like they were together, but not really. Like two people fulfilling a contract neither of them had the courage to cancel. And here's where things get even more complicated. In the years that followed, Toni started dropping breadcrumbs, not just about her love life, but about her health. She revealed she was battling lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease, and had undergone multiple procedures. At one point, she was rushed into emergency heart surgery, and who was by her side? Not Birdman. Not in the ways fans expected, not in the ways that a fiancé, or even a devoted boyfriend, should be. Suddenly, people began asking, where was Birdman through all this? Why was Toni going through life-threatening health scares, seemingly alone? Was this really love? Or a branding exercise gone wrong? And here's the part people don't like to talk about: money. Because while Toni was fighting for her life, her finances were also under scrutiny. The ring. Rumors swirled that she had lost it, not once, but twice. One story claimed the ring was stolen. Another said she accidentally left it on a plane. Birdman, according to some sources, wasn't happy. And when money starts to mix with love, it gets messy. Fast. As rumors piled up, so did the tension. The public watched Toni Braxton and Birdman like a slow-burning soap opera. One moment in love, the next completely erased from each other's social media. And while fans kept guessing, Toni dropped a subtle bombshell in an interview. She didn't really want a big wedding. She wanted something small, private. That doesn't sound unusual until you remember who her fiancé was. Birdman, the king of floss and spectacle, wasn't exactly known for doing anything quietly. A low-key wedding didn't fit his brand, and maybe that was the point. In another interview, Toni admitted that Birdman gave her an ultimatum. He told her if they didn't set a wedding date soon, he was out. "We've been engaged forever," she laughed, trying to make light of it, but the energy was off. You could hear the hesitation in her voice, like someone trying to find joy in a situation that had already grown cold. People started to wonder, was this ever real love, or did the relationship serve a different purpose? Toni had been open about her financial struggles: bankruptcy, IRS liens, business mismanagement. Birdman, on the other hand, was a symbol of wealth, even if Cash Money was facing its own lawsuits at the time. Was their union a merging of power or a distraction from deeper issues? Let's not forget, Birdman isn't just a music executive. He's a businessman with a history of complex, sometimes shady dealings. He's been accused of withholding royalties from artists. Even Lil Wayne, the artist he helped raise. If loyalty looks shaky there, what does that mean for a romantic relationship? And while Toni is known for keeping it classy, her silence began to speak volumes. She never publicly bashed Birdman, never aired him out. But in her music, the tone changed. The lyrics became more introspective, more questioning. Songs about love lost, about protection turning to poison, about needing space. They all hinted at a woman who was in something deeper than she could explain. And that's what made this situation so different, so sad. Because Toni Braxton isn't your average celebrity. She's a legend, and legends don't need saving. But even icons can find themselves entangled in love stories that leave bruises instead of blessings. In 2020, the pair once again hinted they had split. No dramatic announcements, no public statements, just a quiet erasure. The wedding never happened. The ring never seen again. And the love still debated. What's even more chilling is how little closure the public, or Toni herself, ever got. No sit-down interviews, no tell-alls. Just a woman moving on with her life, slowly, carefully, guardedly. Birdman, for his part, continued doing what he does, staying low-key but connected. His relationship with Toni has become a ghost story in celebrity culture, one people whisper about but never really understand. Was it heartbreak? Was it business? Or was it just two people trying to find connection in a world that rarely allows it? The truth probably lives somewhere in between. And now, as Toni enters a new chapter of her life, one where her health, peace, and music take center stage again, fans are left with lingering questions. Did Birdman truly love her? Did she love him? Or were they both playing roles, hoping real feelings would follow. Because sometimes the most dangerous relationships aren't the loud ones. They're the quiet storms that slowly change who you are until one day you look in the mirror and realize you've lost something you can't name. Toni Braxton may never publicly unpack what really happened behind closed doors, but her silence isn't emptiness, it's survival. And maybe that's all we need to know. In the end, the love story between Toni Braxton and Birdman may have always been too complicated to survive the spotlight. On paper, it was fascinating. A pairing that challenged every expectation. The soft-spoken R&B queen and the brash New Orleans mogul. She brought elegance, he brought edge. She was Grammy gold, he was hip-hop royalty. Together, they looked like power. But when you peeled back the layers, what you found wasn't luxury. It was longing. Longing for stability, for protection, for being truly seen. And maybe that's what drew Toni to Birdman in the first place. For all the tattoos and tough talk, he showed up for her. When she lost her sister Tracy, he was there. When she got sick, he was still around. And when her world got quiet, he filled the silence. Not with grand gestures, but with presence. Sometimes that's all a woman needs, someone who stays. But presence doesn't equal peace, and love that's born in chaos often struggles to survive in stillness. Birdman might have represented safety in one season of Toni's life, a shield from the industry, from media, maybe even from herself. But over time, it seemed clear. She needed more than a shield. She needed space. She needed clarity. She needed to breathe without someone else's shadow hanging over her. Because let's be honest, Birdman never stepped out of character. Even when they were together, he was still Birdman, the flashy, mysterious figure who rarely let people in. And Toni? Toni is deep. She's a feeler, an empath. You can hear it in every note she's ever sung. Her gift is vulnerability. But it's hard to be vulnerable when your partner is a vault. And maybe that's why their story unraveled quietly, not in flames, but in silence. The same kind of silence that's followed Toni for years, since the industry tried to box her in, tell her who she should be, what she should sound like, how she should heal. But Toni Braxton has never played by industry rules. She didn't when she broke records with Unbreak My Heart. She didn't when she fought for her masters in court. And she's not doing it now. Birdman, meanwhile, remains enigmatic. He pops up on podcasts. He makes bold statements. He still commands a certain respect in hip-hop circles. But when it comes to Toni, he rarely speaks. Maybe that's out of respect. Or maybe it's because he knows some chapters are better left unread. Still, for all their silence, this relationship left a mark. It challenged how we view power couples. It reminded us that love doesn't always come wrapped in perfection. Sometimes it arrives messy, inconvenient, and unresolved. But that doesn't mean it wasn't real. Toni never needed Birdman to complete her. But maybe, just maybe, he reminded her that she was worthy of being chosen, even in her most vulnerable state. And Birdman? Perhaps Toni was his soft landing, a space where he didn't have to posture, a woman who saw the man, not the mogul. Now, years removed from their very public engagement and very private fallout, one thing is clear. Toni Braxton has reclaimed her peace. She's living life on her terms, making music when it feels right, showing up when she wants to, not because a contract, a label, or a relationship demands it. And that's the real glow up. Because the truth is, not all love stories are meant to last. Some are just meant to teach, to show you who you were, what you needed, and what you'll never accept again. So whether Toni and Birdman were soulmates, mismatched lovers, or just two broken people looking for healing, we may never know. But what we do know is this: Toni Braxton is still standing, still glowing, still legendary. And Birdman, he'll always be part of her story, but not the headline. Now it's your turn. What do you really think happened behind closed doors? Was it love, survival, or something in between? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true celebrity stories, because the drama is real, but the truth, it's even better.